G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David. It's coming up to Christmas now, and it's Christmas Eve actually at the moment, and this video will probably be up on Christmas Day for you, Christmas morning. So I just wanted to maybe show some highlights of 2020. Whilst it hasn't been the best year, of course, with all the lockdowns we've had in place due to COVID in Melbourne, you still can appreciate the time we've had and the time with family, and appreciate your time that you look at the important things in life. So anyway, but just want to maybe share some of the highlights of this year and some of the highlight trees. Firstly, this Japanese maple. It's really coming along come along a long way, and I know there's a lot of good feedback I've had on this tree. It's just a simple, beautiful little maple. It's grown really well. After I trimmed it in spring, early spring, it really has just sat there and just look great. There's not much huge amount of new growth yet. It doesn't really grow that much after you've done your pinching initially, but it's actually looking really nice. The trunk's nice and getting white and aged. It's got the more of a natural feel, this tree. It's still got a long way to go to get it really refined and ramified and much more branching, and even try and get the leaves a bit smaller would be great too. But it's a nice enjoyable tree for 2020 that I've enjoyed working on and seeing it come a long way. So, and one of the reasons I love maples, and I did a video this year on why I love maples so much, and it's pretty obvious. They're very graceful trees, so it's looking really good. Let's have a look at some others. Here's another maple. It's a kind of a very interesting tree, and it featured in my why I love maples so much. I've kind of left it do its own thing. Haven't really wanted to really heavily wire this tree. I'm trying to let it grow in a natural state. I can't really spin it around this way because it's going to run out of room, because that branch is a very large cascading branch, or semi-cascading branch. It's probably the highlight of the tree. One of the best features of the tree is huge, expansive branch, which I love. Really gives something different to this tree, adds a different element. You've got your standard kind of looking maple, which I'm trying to grow out and trying to make into a more natural style looking tree, but that cascade branch is stunning. I mean, I just envision this tree sitting over a lake. There's a big lake at the bottom down here, and it just hangs over it, and it looks really good. What I've noticed is there's a lot of inner buds here that haven't actually popped, which is really interesting. Not sure how or why they haven't. Good question, maybe someone knows. It is well into early summer now, and they haven't really popped, but they're nice and red. I've just trimmed it back for spring, and I thought that might pop, but they haven't. So I'm not 100% sure why they haven't. They haven't died. I can definitely see they're nice and red. But yeah, just maybe because there's not only so much energy that can go out to the tree, and the tips are getting all the energy at the moment. I'm not sure. If anyone has a theory, let me know. But that's another beautiful little maple. It's been a highlight of the collection. Well, this tree, I guess, isn't anything spectacular, but it's actually coming along really well. It's a trident maple that is really starting to, it really interests me because it's got this really tiny leaf, and even though it's still a little bit too formal in terms of that boring triangular pine shape that I'm trying to get it to grow out of, it is starting I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more because it's starting to really fill out. Now I think if I can fill it out and grow it a bit bigger, it'll start to look more like a maple, or a little more like a maple in nature. It's got this nice big branch out here, which is really good. It's starting to form that, give me that view of a deciduous tree. I'm trying to grow some longer branches here and there. But it's looking, I don't know, I just find it a very interesting tree. The nabari is phenomenal. It's got a beautiful root spread, quite attractive. It's got a lot of attractive features. It just needs that element of a bit more time to ramify, a bit more time to grow out some of these branches, really start to get it to look more deciduous looking and more natural looking. But it's got all the features that it's going to be a great tree. I'm excited about this tree as well. So I just got to look and make sure the wire's not cutting in. I can see a bit of wire in this tree that I might have missed, and it looks like it's cutting in a little, so I'll just be wary of that. But other than that, a really nice little maple here. It's really looking really nice. Okay. And here's another little lovely trident maple. Really beautiful tree. It is what it is. It is a kind of a triangular shaped maple, but it's starting to change a little bit. I'm trying to get the top half to fill out more so it's not so pointy, and by doing that it really has changed the tree a little bit. Beautiful little fat stump, Nabari, great Nabari, but really that fat trunk into a nice apex, but the branching is really starting to fill out more. So the more this tree fills out towards the top, the happier I am. You see, I noticed from the side it's leaning forward. Really good feature. Very full tree, it's really quite full and ramified, and you can just start seeing the branches are starting to go this way upwards more, so I'm trying to fix that rather than pull them down. So you can just start seeing them, they're coming up, and that's the plan with this tree. I'm almost letting it naturally do that, and just tweaking it here and there, but really, and it's a nice small leaf as well on this. Obviously with more branching, more ramification, you get smaller leaves as well, but it is all working really well. Really a pleasure to have this tree in the collection, and just enjoying it. And the moss has survived still. The birds almost found it, so they started to dig it up a little bit, but it's still surviving, but it's doing okay. So, and speaking of birds, I'll share with you in this video towards the end my little bonsai buddy that you hear tweeting around, and all his buddies singing along in my videos. So you'll see who my little bonsai buddy is, who's been a real real joy to have this year, during lockdown and working from home and being at home all the time. It was good to have him as my companion. So you'll see him in a minute, or later on this video. And of course, one of the looking really quite spectacular. This is very large trident maple. Brian, I think this is your favourite. I know he's been always commenting on how much he loves this tree, but it is quite a beautiful, spectacular tree. It is starting to improve all the time. It is actually improving all the time, all year round. I'm even starting, this is the issue here that I've told you about before. So I've grown this branch quite nice and long. I've got to tweak these around still. Tweak these down a bit, just to start filling in this gap, but that's about it. But other than that, it's really full and beautiful and really starting to come along really well. I've only really given it one trim this year. It's growing steadily. It doesn't grow nuts anymore. Like, it's really quite controlled growth. Beautiful, healthy tree. It's a big tree, but the leaves are really starting to come down in size, which is good. That means there's more branching, more buds, more ramifications. Which means smaller. So everything's really positive on this tree. It's a big tree. The only negative is it gets harder and harder to lift it because it's heavy. So. But that's about it. Beautiful, brings joy to my heart, as they say, when you look at beautiful trees like this. And it's just more of it's trying to get that more rounded look rather than a triangular look as well, and start look more like a maple. So that's the plan. Okay. Every year I struggle trying to keep this group of trident maples healthy and strong because of the shallowness of this pot. This year I found a spot in the garden where it gets pretty much just morning sun, and it gets shaded pretty much from anywhere between late, probably just after lunch, to all the way. So just getting morning sun, and other than that it's in the shade. And I've put a good heavy layer of moss on the tree. And you can see the moss is still going, still alive. The birds did find it recently and started to dig up a little bit, but the tree is the healthiest I've ever seen it. So everything's really starting to fill out. Even though this tree, the top of this bit died off, this second trunk, I thought the whole tree was going to die, but this second trunk has actually just come along really well, and it looks like that tree's going to be saved. Some smaller trees here are really doing really well that I've added in recently. There's some smaller trees at the back that I haven't trimmed yet, but I will trim it eventually, but they're doing really well as well. But the main trees are the ones that have really done well this year. Usually they very rarely put out growth, and it's very slow. This year it's consistently putting out growth, which is awesome. So what can I say? It's been an improvement because I found a really good spot in the garden for it. I've covered the base with a full layer of moss that keeps it nice and moist, and that's been the trick to really start to fill this tree out again, and really start to improve it over time. But it's a nice little old group, very old group that used to belong to our old president of the club, Bonsai Northwest, many years ago. And he got this pot made in Japan, could be 30 years ago, more probably. And it was handmade, and it was imported, and it cost a lot of money back then, and we're worth even more today. But it's a phenomenal pot and suits the trees. So that's another good one. A bit of a surprise this year is I actually had the time to work on this tree. I videoed it, of course, and it's on YouTube, and I did a three video series on this. Took a lot of hours of work, but it's looking really good. I'm really happy with how it came out. It would look like an absolute mess before I started. I didn't think I would get there, but it's come along really well. And as you can see, it's probably been about 3 months since I styled it. It's all still very healthy, very good, very strong growing, lots of new buds. Very healthy tree, enjoying its new look, and being trimmed back and being looked after more. But I'm absolutely ecstatic how this turned out. It's actually quite a beautiful feature in the garden now, this tree, this bonsai. It's going to give it a couple more years, and I think once we can get the metal rods out of the ground, and the tree holds its shape a bit more, I think it's going to look absolutely awesome. So it's come along really well. Spruces are very cool trees. I didn't realise how well they respond to training as well. They're actually really good. So I'm a bit of a fan of spruces now. They've got this really good looking growth and very interesting tree. So this was a highlight for me this year, being able to work on this tree and have the time to do the work. So it's been another positive for 2020, I guess. And I just want to finish off on this tree for this year. It is quite, I know it's been in a recent video, but this really highlights to me how good material, when you've got good stock, you can get good stock. I've airlaid all the unwanted trunks and branches off this tree over one season. So I airlaid them off. Then I roughly styled the tree, and then I repotted it. And within 2 to 3 years, this tree, from stock material, became this tree. I know that the planting angle is not exactly right, and the tree needs a lot more work in terms of cleaning it up. But it is just showing you how quickly you can put, when you got good quality material, good quality stock, have a plan. Do your air layer and get the branches off that you don't need. Rather than cutting them off and get rid of them, I've air laid them, and they'll make nice little minis in the future. Have that plan in place. Have a thought process around what you can do with your trees, and don't rush it in terms of doing too many things to the tree at once. So I air laid the branches off, took them off in summer. So I air laid them in winter, took them off in summer. Then that autumn I styled the tree. The following, I think even, just the next winter, I was able to repot it. So not doing everything in one go, but staging it really works. So it's a real good story on how to quickly get material into a bonsai pot and get it looking good. So this tree, I reckon, probably when I come back after summer, once summer's done, I'll be, really cleaning this tree out. I just want to see a huge amount of growth, and I can see all the nice light foliage at the top. All the tips are growing really well, and this tree will really flourish now. And I'll give it a nice clean up in autumn sometime, and restyle it, get it tweaked, wire it out a bit more, and get it looking good. I know the planting angle's wrong in the pot, but I'll work on that and fix that up as well. But anyway, I'll finish off with this tree, and now I'll show you my little bonsai buddy. Alright guys, here he is. His name's Sky. I got him in March 2020 when COVID first hit. My father-in-law he was a baby, my father-in-law gave him to me, just so give me some companionship while I was during lockdown. He was only a baby, I decided to try and train him. He's pretty good. He comes to me, he's very friendly. He's got some buddies over there I'm trying to train, a couple more buddies there, trying to train up. But this guy, he's I'm even trying to teach him to have a little chat with me. So he does say a few words here and there, but very basic stuff. But it's good. But yeah, this is the little guy you hear with his buddies all talking all the time and singing away. But he's quite a fun bird, this one. He might say a few words. We'll just wait and see if once I shut up, he might say a few things that I've taught him. Okay. Give me a kiss. Touch. Thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Touch. I love you. Give me a kiss. I said look. Touch. I love you. I love you. I love you. Touch. So he wasn't that talkative, so I have to show you a video I did of him previously. But just want to wish you guys a safe 2021. It's been fun doing videos on YouTube and about bonsai and what I love. So in 2020, even though it was a struggle, we're hoping 2021 is a much better year. So take care everyone and wish you all the best. See you in 2021. Bye.